The Hacks of Gorm, Part 41, Rotting Education. Gorm looked past the stockade gate. Why would anyone want to guard this?
What a foolish question,
replied the woman.
As head teacher here, I am very proud of all the work we've done.
Gottschalk shook his head. I'm not sure who would be proud of this. He scanned the collection of shacks within the tall, fenced area. Motivational slogans were strewn about, saying such things as anything can be achieved with the correct education and every pupil gets a red star. Deep pits were dug at certain intervals too. The sound of moaning and stench of rotting arose from them. Tamara looked on, concerned. Where are Ramses and Larissa?
Why don't you find them yourself? It will be an exercise in cooperative learning. I do, we do, you do,
said the head teacher. In response, the face-eating dog moved forward towards her and growled. The head teacher put her hand on her hip and glared at it condescendingly. Gottschalk turned to her. Now, you don't want to make our friend angry, do you?
I'm not afraid of you or your amaranthine hound, she replied.
Gottschalk grinned. Do you know why we call it the face-eating dog? The head teacher frowned and nodded finally.
Fine, they're over here.
She maneuvered past the stinking, moaning pits, stopping for a moment to try to collect a scroll and quill from one of them. A macabre hand reached up and tried to grab her. Startled, the party looked down to see shambling, animate, human corpses inside. They were at a loss as to why the head teacher would get so close to such creatures.
They still have some mental faculties, you know, she began. They can still finish their group work. One even happened to pass a standard examination. Their education is my charge.
They zombies, said Gorm. You should never let them be in charge.
Gottschalk gazed down at the pit again. Here were the living dead, creatures that were once men and women, right before his eyes in the light of day. Yes, they had run into such unnatural things before, the bloomer, for example, but seeing the undead now, even in the dim daylight of Mont Jackson, was altogether more unsettling, if less spooky, than at night. And, unlike the zombie public lords that the party had left to fight the demon-crats this morning, these weren't sentient. They simply moaned and pointed their lifeless eyes in his direction. Some carried strange little boxes, suggesting that their animation came from ghoul, while others had white stains on their faces, some sort of powdered opiate, perhaps. All had name tags attached to them, and ripped scrolls and broken quills littered their feet. They seemed like they would tear any apart who came too close. At least they didn't try to get involved in politics. The party approached a lone shack with smoke coming out of its chimney next. The face-eating dog started barking ferociously. Gorm turned to try to quiet the hound, but realized it was being agitated by the zombies in a nearby pit. So, taking the barbarian approach, Gorm leapt down to battle them, great axe in hand. The face-eating dog only barked louder. A balding man came to the shack's door. Gottschalk turned to the head teacher. That's not him.
Oh no? He's definitely an amaranthine monster. I thought you'd be friends.
Gottschalk glared at her. Why would you call him that? Because he doesn't want the folk of the Vale to be replaced? At that, the man laughed. You might say so, but the authorities got me on something much more basic. The party waited a moment for him to finish. Looking at someone funny.
You violated the rights of activists, screamed the head teacher. You deserve your punishment, Christoph. By great retai, you looked at them so funny.
They were trying to attack me, and they were looking at me funny when they did it, he replied. The head teacher's face turned red. Gottschalk spoke up then. We're looking for two of our companions. One, a man with spectacles, and the other, a young woman with blonde hair. You mean Ramses and Larissa? Said Christoph. They escaped when the guards left. Said something about fleeing to Narquois. Why would they do that? Who would want to go there? Said Tamara. They said things can't end well here in Mont Jackson. I was inclined to agree, but I knew I had to stay to face my punishment. Kristoff winked at the head teacher. Her face turned an even brighter shade of red, and she walked away. Gorm had just clambered out of the pit, his muscular body covered in the remains of grisly gore.
"Zombies have got education now,"
he said. The head teacher did not seem pleased. Next week, The Hacks of Gorm, Part 42.